What's up, everybody? In today's video, we've got a couple things to discuss. The first one is actually pretty important about a bug that is happening right now in Rocket League, primarily in how it affects the Rocket League esports scene and the way that it's been addressed by the staff, which I'm actually a big fan of. We've also got a team that got picked up, one unsigned org that made it into the regionals for NA, has been picked up and under a new representation who has been involved in Rocket League in the past. And then we've got a team automatically qualifying for the World Championship in North America. So a lot of fun things to discuss in today's video. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. Today's video, as I mentioned, three things that we're going to be talking about. First thing we're going to get into immediately. Before we get into that, if you guys do enjoy the content, thumbs up, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the videos and support them. But first topic of discussion, recently and just before the regionals kind of got underway, there was a tweet by Rocket League Esports on Twitter that said, "We are aware of a bug that allows goals to be scored after hitting the ground with 0 seconds on the clock. A very specific circumstance where this bug occurs is when a ball bounces into the goal within 0.1 seconds of hitting the ground at 0 seconds. We are hard at work to fix the bug and should have a solution in place by next week. With a short time frame until upcoming competitions, this being the only slim circumstance where this can occur, and the bug being applicable to both teams equally, we are continuing with this week's events." NA Regional 2, for those that don't know, that's going on for the spring split. All teams, players, and staff are being informed of the bug and how it functions, so they are fully aware. Thank you for your patience and understanding. So a couple things about this one that's really important. You already have the region for the spring split packed in 39 days. This could have been an excuse to extend it a little bit. The difficulty with that is you have to then change all the scheduling of all the other events. That just makes things difficult. So moving forward with it, when you have such a jam-packed schedule, obviously they don't really have too much of a choice there. The other side of it, I think the best thing out of this is the way that it's addressed and the way that it's handled. Immediately after the recognition, this came from the latest Season 3 update, introduced new competitive seasons, all that kind of stuff. If you guys haven't seen that video, go check that one out. But in those videos, it talks about all the new changes, but it did come with some bugs. Primarily the fact that when the ball is being shot and it hits the ground, specifically at 0 seconds, when it hits the ground, it will still bounce a little bit. And that 0.1 second of hitting the ground can sometimes lead to a goal. I've seen this numerous times in the games that I've played. And I also told you guys I would update this. I did my placements. I don't know the results, but I automatically placed into Grand Champ. So I'm pretty much done for the season. The other thing that was weird is it didn't count placement matches for some reason. I've played 13 games of ranked, but my placement, because your placements actually do get counted for your like rewards, I'm 9 out of 10. So how do I play 13 games but 9? It doesn't make any sense. Stuff's been broken. Stuff's weird. Some things are going on. There's definitely some bugs happening. But this one is primarily with the concern of the competitive season, where if RLCSX is going down and a team is either down by 1 or it's tied and the ball bounces and then goes into the back of the net, technically the ball is dead, but because of the bug, it ends up leading into a goal. So Rocket League Esports got ahead of this one quickly. They talk about this is the issue. This is why we're continuing with it anyway, and we are aware and we are trying to fix it, which I think is the way that Psyonix should be approaching things. I actually am really happy about the way they're handling this. You know, trying to say, like, communication-wise, this is happening. We've informed the players and the staff of our decision, and this is what we're going with. So my overall thoughts is that I'm actually pretty happy with the way that Rocket League Esports is handling this situation. Obviously, they're trying to find a hot fix. They're talking about how they want to get this finalized and fixed before the next event. The next event will be the grid for Europe on Monday. So if they're able to do it throughout the weekend, I do not know. But again, this is actually a pretty big impact. The situation occurring is such a slim chance. But I will say, in the argument of competitive standards, if any team is on the receiving end of this, it sucks. There's not a whole lot you can do. Everybody's under those same circumstances. Again, it's kind of weird to say, but just like, don't put yourself in those circumstances. Obviously easier said than done, but you should know, like, hey man, if you're up by only 1 or if it's tied, you better make sure you kill that ball, you clear it, you do whatever you can. I basically compare it to swatting down an interception. Rather than going for the pick, don't keep it up, swat that shit down and get the play over with and close out the game. So it's pretty scary. We are very blessed in esports to where we do not rely on refs or the human element for making calls. So it is just the coding. Once the coding's fixed, it'll be figured out. But could you imagine if some of the things that happened in this game were actually determined by the human eye as compared to like physical standards of the physics engine. So yeah, it's something that doesn't really get talked about in esports, is the fact that we don't rely on like fouls and flags and stuff like that. It's just the game is programmed to do what it does, and it does it well. So overall, Rocket League Esports doing a pretty good job of handling this problem. Next up, team in North America with Mile, Money, and Stokely by the name of SUP have been picked up. RBG Esports, for those that don't know, have been in this scene for quite a bit and kind of pop in and out at different times. And they do pick up this roster right before regionals ends up happening, which is good because SUP's actually been playing pretty well. This is one of the teams that in my predictions, I wasn't sure on how things were going to go. And I had some kind of varying results based upon how I thought things were going to play out between Ghost, Pittsburgh Knights, and SUP in their area. And I think SUP, I said, could probably play upset. And it was going to be between like maybe that game between RBG now and Ghost. But those three could be interchangeable depending on how things worked out. And looking at the results, skipping ahead of Monday's recap a little bit, they finished 1-2 with Pittsburgh Knights 0-4. They're also up on Ghost. So there's a chance that they finish 3-1 and Ghost finish 1-3. So we'll see what happens. But SUP trying to play upset. Now RBG, congrats to them on getting picked up. Third and final thing, and an important one. I'll be trying to do this more and more often as we get further on in the season. But the overall rankings right now, as we get further and further into the season and as regionals end, you are going to see more and more teams qualify. Because NRG does go 3-0 currently, they have automatically guaranteed a spot into the group stage. They have a minimum amount of points that they can get, even if they don't do well in that knockout area. So no matter what, they secure, I think, 110 points, which will put them in a spot to where they, no matter what, if they don't get any more points from the major or from regional 3, they are fine. So with that said, congrats to NRG, primarily Garrett G, for qualifying for his 10th World Championship in a row. He is the only player to do it. I know a lot of you will be like, well, Fireburner retired. It's not the point. Obviously, Fireburner went to all the lanes that he could as a player, but Garrett G is the only player that has been to every single, or could attend every single World Championship. So hoping there's a land. He didn't get to go to Season 9. Hopefully it happens again. And congrats to NRG as a whole. Sizz, Garrett, Justin, Squishy. This is a new iteration. We didn't know how this was going to go after the disbanding of Cloud9, what Squishy's role was going to be, and they're on top of North America. So NRG, a team that arguably over the past 10 seasons has kind of been the North American favorite. There was a stint where Cloud9 kind of took over and G2 has been in competition. That's how we got our big three. So NRG back on top, even when they were back as Kings of Urban. So it's crazy. You're seeing over the course of the years, primarily this season, we did not know how things were going to play out. We had no idea what it was going to do to the players, what teams were going to show up with open qualifiers and a circuit-based system, and how teams were going to be able to handle the, the grueling schedule that is, 22 events over the course of 9 months. You're seeing in Spring Split alone, like we've talked about, 302 or 305 series over the course of 39 days. Like, it is a lot of work, and I'm kind of not surprised. Garrett G is one of the best work ethics in all of Rocket League Esports. The guy treats it and has stated there's a reason why he's at the top still, and it's because he treats it like a career and a job. He puts in the work to stay at the top, and he's being rewarded for it. Helps that he's alongside a very talented team and a supporting staff that is excellent. So credit where it is due. NRG, first one to qualify for the World Championship. Congrats to them. They're joining the likes of Team BDS, Team Vitality, Ground Zero Gaming, and True Neutral. So out of our 16 teams, we know 5 going to the World Championship, if there is a World Championship. So I'm excited to see how things play out as we get further and further along into the season, but that time is coming up quickly. I don't think there is a qualifier afterwards, and this is something that I'll have to double check back in the format, but I don't know that after we get our 6 teams from NA and EU, if they play again in like a regional to see like what the seeding is going into Worlds. I hope they don't. I hope they take like, hey, these are the teams that have performed the best over the course of the entire season. These are their seeds going in. So I have to double check to see if that's the case or not. But as of right now, I'm loving it. I'm loving the way that things are. That's a McDonald's quote. But I'm loving the way that things are turning out and the way that things are going. But congrats to NRG being the first North American team to qualify. That is going to wrap it up for this video of Rocket League news. Any questions, comments, concerns, as always, down below, along down there. Links to everything I've talked about. My social medias, if you want to go give those a like and follow. Also, if you enjoy the content, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.